Senate and the House Intelligence Committees now have sent a letter to President Trump's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, requesting information on any contacts he had with Russia. NBC News has confirmed that former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn will provide some personal documents to the Senate Intelligence Committee. That's a shift. This comes as the Justice Department's investigation into Russia's interference into the 2016 election heats up, with the Wall Street Journal reporting that Special Counsel Robert Mueller is off to a fast start. That's good news. I'm joined right now by California Democratic Congresswoman Jackie Speier, who's a member of the House Intelligence Committee. First of all, I don't want to waste a second with you, Congresswoman. I want to know what you are thinking about. We're going to find out, and what you want to find out. What's the mystery here? What the hell is Kushner up to? What's Flynn up to? What's Trump up to with the Russians? What were they doing?
There is an unholy alliance, in my mind. The fact that Jared Kushner wanted a secret means by which to communicate with Russia. He is meeting with Gorkov, who is a banker that's had sanctions on him since 2014. He's got real estate dealings in New York, where he's got a piece of property that's underwater. I mean, all of this is really, I think, a suggestion that this relationship that the president and those around him have with Russia has created a absolutely unacceptable environment in which we as a country are doing business with all the other countries around the world.
Well, who is this guy, Jared Kushner? We know he's the son-in-law of the president, but who is he in reality? What's his role in this plan? There he is being taken around in an SUV with a driver like he's Henry Kissinger or somebody. Who is this guy? I mean, is he now in charge of all Middle East deal making? Is he in charge of all international money matters? I mean, what is he now? And he seems to have no real title. Who is he?
Well, he is the son-in-law of the president, and that gives you all the credibility you need. The SUV driver is really available to all family members, and they all have protection. They all have the ability to move around with those Secret Service agents.
Unbelievable. Let me ask you about this meeting that we're all finding out about, where he wanted to set up a back-channel relationship through Kislyak, and he also met with Gorkov, who's the head of the bank over there. What do you think he's up to?
Well, a number of things. I think that he, along with his father-in-law, along with Rex Tillerson, want to lift sanctions because there's a lot of money to be made by ExxonMobil, which was the former company that Rex Tillerson was engaged with Vladimir Putin about. I think that we all know that there have been all of these Russian oligarchs who have purchased properties within Trump Towers in Florida, that there was another property that Trump was able to sell for $40 million more in a course of 2 or 3 years to another Russian oligarch, who now it appears was in the same, shall we say, FAA airspace with Trump and at different locations during the campaign. This all, in my mind, adds up to something pretty sinister.
You make it sound like Trump's an oligarch, is he? A guy who's got economic power, grabs political power, uses the political power to make more money.
I think he is all about making money. I mean, why is it he got 30 trademarks from China that he's been trying to get for 10 years, and lo and behold, after he's president, voila, they're there. And then his daughter gets another number of trademarks in China. This is all about increasing the Trump Organization bandwidth and the dollars.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.